Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty, rocking so many yaps. We on the way, unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother, he going global. Ass hold it down for the ladies, they need their own show. But we right back with it, timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute, yeah. But we right back with it, timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute, yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Time Out with Coach Cam. It's your boy Cam Chancellor, and I am excited to be with you and talk to you about a couple of hot topics we have. First, I'll be talking about Zion Williamson and kind of the state of the New Orleans Pelicans, and also I will be discussing the playing games and what we've seen thus far, a few NBA playoff matchups, as well as the state, and I'll finish it off with the state of college basketball. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you want to comment, please go to the Timeout with Coach Cam page to comment so I can see it, and then I can, discuss your comment and react to it as well. Um, to get started, I wanted to discuss Zion Williamson. Earlier, I said that Zion Williamson has a little Ben Simmons in him. And some people kind of react, I'm not sure what you mean. So I wanted to explain that in detail. So what I meant by Zion Williamson having a little Ben Simmons in him is last night, you know, yeah, you're in the playing game, and I get it. I get it. I really do. However, look, man, your teammate needs you. Your teammates need you. You can't be in pregame warm-ups, doing standstill windmills, flying out the gym, doing all these dunks, and you telling people that your body is not ready. I'm looking at it from I look at it from both point of views. As the player, you know your body. You can't necessarily rush out there, and I get that. I get that. But at the same time, you know, I think his teammates are starting to look at him like, bruh, okay. Every time down the stretch, we in the playoffs or we in a position to do something, you in street clothes. Ain't coming, oh, my body not feeling right. Nobody's more frustrated than me that I can't go out there. Every time I check my phone, I'm being questioned and this, that, and the third. Yeah, you're gonna be questioned. You've barely played a year worth of games since you've been in the league. Something gotta shake with Zion here at some point. Now it's not that he's a bad player, no doubt. No. That's not what I'm saying. Zion Williamson is a dog. But I told people coming out of college that you can't be six to have the explosiveness he has and carry that much weight. His build don't match up. It don't match up. That's why I said it's gonna be hard for him to stay healthy for a long period of time. That's why I wouldn't have picked him number one. I've been on record saying that plenty of time when he first came out. This ain't nothing new. But now you're starting to see, oh, I'm not sure my body feel right now. It's becoming mental. I felt like last night. If I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm on that team and I'm watching pre games and he windmilling and he doing all this. Like, hey, you doing all this, you ready to play. You can at least give us 20, 25 minutes, give us a boost. You need to come on out here. I got a boy Henry Ellison here. Says, is it his weight that's still holding back, or is it something else? I, at this point, I just think you know Zion is who he is. He's going to be a thicker kid. He's going to be a bigger guy. You know what I mean? He's going to play at about 270, 75 pounds, 280. That's just what it is. At this point, you can't change that. You can't change the way his body is structured. But I think it's a scenario where you're going to see this for Zion, for the Zion's rest of his career. You're going to see him hurt. You're not going to see him, him getting through a full season is going to be like a shot. It's going to be a one-off more than not. And if I'm the Pelicans, you got to start looking here and saying, hey, I understand you are top of the line. You are a great player when you're healthy. But when are you healthy? At some point, you have to be on the court. It's what it is. You got to be on the court. One of the best abilities is availability. So if I'm the Pelicans, I may look at this one more season and see what he can do. But I will have to make some phone calls, see if someone is willing to maybe take on Zion Williamson. Maybe you can get something for him. Because I feel like it's like a dark cloud over the franchise. It's like when you win, we good, but you never in. We're just waiting on you. We waiting on you. We waiting on you. Just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. You can't stay healthy. Might be time for you to package something up. Find a package for you. I did. I almost felt sorry for the Pelicans going out there, losing that game, and Zion sitting over there in street clothes, knowing that he did about 50 windmill dunks in warm up. Come on, man. That's why I say Zion got a little Ben Simmons in him. Now it's becoming mental. And when it becomes mental, that spells trouble. So obviously we're gonna see next year and moving forward. Let me see here. Henry says, if Zion is healthy, the Pelicans are a team contending for the top seed in the West. They are. That's the frustrating part is that they can never see that through. It was at the top of the standings before he got hurt. They finished ninth. Brandon Ingram missed time too. But I think that's where the frustration lies with with his teammates and the front office. At some point, you have to play games. You have to be available to us. All right, now moving to the playoff games. The play-in games. Um, the game I was probably the most disappointed in, or the team that I'm probably the most disappointed in, as far as the play-in games, is the Miami Heat. Is the Miami Heat. The whole, trying to take a undrafted guy and try to mold him and try to develop him. I think that's ran its course with the Miami Heat. They need some talent on that roster. It's all cool to develop an undrafted free agent like Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. These guys, that's a feel good story. That's nice. But when you actually gotta do something in the playoffs, excuse me, and you gotta advance, you need better talent. The grit and worksman-like kind of, culture of the Miami Heat is great. But at the end of the day, you need some talent. There's not enough talent on that roster. But I was disappointed in the effort and a player that I kind of like. People warned me about him, so I'm gonna sit up. I can fault the people warn me about him. It's Bam Adebayo, man. I mean, at some point, you got to take that next step, that next level. in your game. And I just feel like he his plateau, and that's not a bad thing. He's not a bad player. But when the stakes are the highest, game like a game 7 or you need a big game, he's nowhere to be found. Clint Capella outworked him. And it wasn't the points, but it was the rebound. 21 rebounds. 21 rebounds. And I like Bam a lot. Bam one of my guys, but I'm like, come on now, you gotta keep bro off the glass. You can't let him get 21 rebounds. My boy Henry says, Dame to Miami. They need it. They need it. They need talent. Yeah, they need talent much, and I'm gonna lump this topic in here too, or this comment in here too. It's time to blow Miami up. I still like Bam. He's averaging 20 and 9. Yeah, I like Bam too. It just seems like when it's time for him to show up, or he play other centers that has like the same type of maybe athletic profile as him, he struggles a little bit. But I do like Bam. I like Bam a lot, but I need him to show me something in this next game against Chicago against Vucevic. I'm looking for him to have a big game. But with saying it's time to blow Miami up, yeah, it's time to blow it up, or it's time to package some picks, package some players, and try to go get a Dame Lillard or someone of that nature. But if they can't do that, yes, I agree with you. And that's my guy there. I agree that Miami needs to be blown up. This whole Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, it's done, and they got a bunch of bad contracts over there. Uh, Kyle Lowry was a bad contract, and I'm quite sure he's going to accept his player. I don't see why he wouldn't. Uh, Duncan Robinson, I believe you're paying 5 years, 90 million to, and he doesn't even crack the rotation. But see, that's what happens when you bank on undrafted free agents to try to yeah, and second rounders to build your team. It's like they may have a good year here or there, but are they really going to be consistent? So it's definitely time to blow Miami up, especially if they don't get this win uh, against the Chicago Bulls, and we know how playoff Pat Bev is, and how he gets his teams fired up for them games. So that'll be interesting. Another team that was very disappointing. Another team that I thought absolutely that choked. Quite frankly, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. That Minnesota Timberwolves versus Los Angeles Lakers game. Timberwolves was in control of that game for probably 3 quarters. Uh, and when I'm talking about just really didn't seize the moment there, that's what I thought I saw from the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just thought I saw them clam up. I saw a team that played the last 8 minutes of that game and overtime, not wanting to lose instead of going out there to win. They were trying to back their way into a victory. A lot of standing on offense, turnovers, bad fouls. It was, it was kind of a microcosm of what's been going on with the Timberwolves. Just self destruction. Obviously with the Rudy Gobert situation, obviously with the Jaden McDaniel situation, and then you look and say, "Oh wow, they done pulled it together. They're playing good ball," and then they melt down. It's just that's the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that's the type of season they're having. I was very disappointed in Anthony Edwards. I thought he would have a big game, and if you noticed, that night I did put him down for one of the locks of the night over 27 and a half, and it seemed like he woke up and forgot how to play basketball. That was not a good performance by Anthony Edwards. I'm anxious to see how a young fellow like that bounces back from a game like that in a big moment. Like I said, I like Anthony Edwards a lot, and I think I'll be looking for him to bounce back. Gary said he seems hurt here. Um, yeah, he did seem hurt, but even early on before he got hurt, he wasn't. He looked out of sorts. He wasn't right. He wasn't making shots. He was turning it over. Uh, he just didn't look like um, the Anthony Edwards that we are accustomed to seeing. And so we'll like I said, these guys have a chance to bounce back. This is gonna be a good game against the Timberwolves and the Thunder. And Thunder is a good team, a good young team that has a promising future, man. They didn't have Chet Holmgren this year, and I think people are forgetting about that. Uh, to be able to uh, make it to a playing game because people thought they'll be in the lottery again. Make it to a playing game, get some momentum for yourself. Then you get Chet Holmgren. Now what you can do is you got a plethora of picks. You got some young pieces. Now you can package that up and get a veteran superstar, perhaps if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, and can now add to that future young core of J Dub, of Giddy, of Shea Gilgis Alexander. So that's a team that just always finds a way to do it right. They draft well. They bring quality guys in. I'm anxious to see the future of the Thunder, and heck, we might see them as the eighth seed against the Denver Nuggets. Who knows? I think I actually, coming into that game, I like them to win actually. So we'll see. Maybe they'll be a lock of the night. Let's see here. What's good, Jay? My boy here says, who you think vet wise will mesh though? That's a good question. And they don't need necessarily. You know what? Maybe they don't even like need a superstar. They already have one. Shea Gilgis Alexander. They have a good player in Josh Giddey. I just think they need a stabilizing force down low. I don't know who that possibly could be right now, but you never know. What names pop open or things like that. But if they can get someone protecting the rim at the five spot, I think that will really, 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 um, really, really, really fast track them in that Western Conference. And you'll be looking a team that's really young and hard to deal with. Another team that needs to blow it up from the playing series is the Toronto Raptors. I'm done with them as well. The whole Van Fleet, Siakam, OG Anunoby, all that. It's done. Scrap it. Get what you can from Siakam. Let Van Fleet walk if he's a free agent. If he's not, look to trade him. Like let's bust that up. Let's start fresh if you are the Toronto Raptors and build around Scotty Barnes. That's the best way to go. And now it's questions if they're gonna bring Nick Nurse back. I I don't know why you will perhaps not retain Nick Nurse. I mean, the team is pretty. I feel like it's pretty marginal outside of um, Siakam, Van Fleet, and Scotty Barnes. I mean, for me, I would keep Nick Nurse, but it looks like that a deal may not happen there. So Toronto, I felt like they, finished about where they were gonna finish, and it's just they're not gonna get no better, and they always gonna stay in that, what we call sports purgatory, where you're not good and you're not bad enough to get better, and you don't want to be there. So it's time to get rid of that. Get rid of Siakam, get rid of those guys, build around Scotty Barnes, get younger, and try to get better through the draft, and reload and rebuild because that whole Van Fleet and Siakam everything is it has ran its course. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about um, before I go is the state of college basketball right now, and college. I guess you can say college athletics in general. Um, Things have changed. Things have changed a lot as far as the landscape and everything like that. Um, what's amazing to me and what's so eh, as you see it unfold is that I got this comment here. Sorry. And we'll touch on that college subject in a second. I said, will Bill and Dane be with their current teams next season? Uh, that's that's a tough question. because they both loyal guys. They both, you know, basically entrenched in the cities that they're at. With Bill in DC and Dame in Portland. But at some time you get tired of losing at some point. You get tired of the hamster, like, spinning the wheel, the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. If you're a competitor, you want to win eventually. And Dame already said he ain't looking forward to no rebuild. And it's like, bro, you see where the organization is headed. It's headed towards a rebuild with young players, with the Anthony Simons, with the Shaden Sharps, and those type of players. Now where the team, like, so don't act like, and you're pretty much like handcuffed. You don't have a lot too many assets, so it's like, come on, Dan. You're headed towards a rebuild. Decision is up to you at this point. Um, let me see here. My boy Jay says, Bill looking like he fell off a cliff, value dipping. I agree with that. I agree with that. Especially, I put him down with the two threes. He wasn't even shooting threes. And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, he about through. And you can tell, man, like losing sometimes just wear on you. I think he made a decision for him and his family. I think sometimes people look at it and say, you know what, can I win a ring? Maybe, but I know I could get this money to secure my family. You know what I mean? So some people make that decision, man, and and hopefully these guys can get in a situation where they're playing on a winning team and contributing in major ways. But as of right now, it looks like Bill's probably gonna most likely. I'm not gonna say most likely will retire there because he probably will eventually get traded or dealt. But you're right. I mean, he's not the same player anymore. I don't think he can be like a 1B on a championship team. He'd be like more like a third option at this point. Let me see. I don't know what the Wizards are doing. Well, that's been said probably for the last 20 years. Don't know what the Wizards are doing. Maybe 30. But hey, unfortunately, you know, really it comes down to just bad ownership, bad management. They put together these rosters with no plan. And that's the issue. No plan. They just put players together. He's decent, and it doesn't work. You have to have a plan when you put a team together. Send Bill to the Lakers. Oh, here you go, trying to get all the stars. Any name that come up, send them to my Lakers. Send them to my Lakers. No, but we'll see. Obviously, you never know. I think they will re-sign D'Angelo Russell. Just my opinion. Uh, but we'll see. But moving on, like I was saying about college basketball and college athletics in general, college athletics is a mess right now, and it was the old. Obviously, you could blame NIL, um, you know, but I feel like it's just more than that. It's more than just NIL. There's just no regulations on it, and I think that's the issue with college athletics. And let's not get it twisted. COVID put a change in things. I mean, it really put a change in things. COVID has made it to the point where they want older players now. It started a little bit with the transfer portal, but when COVID hit and you could get fourth year guys, fifth year guys, that changed the game. And it put everybody, it says trickle effect that comes with that. Less scholarships. And with these scholarships these days, I mean, I know back in the day when, you know, you knew somebody that got signed to a university, you knew, oh, cool, bet scholarship, 4 years, and not no more. When you sign to a university and you sign to go to a school, that is a 1 year scholarship, and you'll get an annual review at the end of the season, just like a job. At the end of the season, you and the coach sit down and say, well, I thought it would work out better. Um, uh, my suggestion, would be for to perhaps explore the transfer portal. Land somewhere where you can get some playing time and have some success. Or as you know what it is, bro. We love you. We love to have you back. You got your spot here. But it's a 1 year contract. And don't be surprised in the future with all this NIL stuff that scholarships are going to be contracts because all this 1 year stuff. Oh, I'm just paying a guy 1 year, maybe 150 million. I mean 150,000. It's my guy, it's my recruit, and all of a sudden you just leave to go to the next school the next year. Nah, nah, that's gonna stop. That's gonna stop guaranteed. I promise you that. They're gonna start putting scholar. They're gonna start putting contracts on these scholarships. 2 years. They're gonna be 2 year contracts on these scholarships. I promise you. It's too much freedom. Too much freedom. And with that, and what's killing me is that like players, people are shocked. So like when I'm rooting for like you, obviously I root for the University of Cincinnati. I root for the Bearcats, football and basketball. I know where the game is going. So when I say, hey, player A is best for him, hopefully he hits the portal so we can bring a better guy in. That's not me. That's not, me dogging anyone body. That's not me, trying to you know disrespect a certain player or individual. It's just how it's the way of the game. You heard Rick Pitino when he got got the job at St. John's. What did he say? Yeah, have you talked to the guy? Well, yeah. Quite frankly, just to be honest, most of the guys, won't be playing for me. The guys that was going to play for him were there in attendance. Deion Sanders, he came in. Hey, I'm bringing Louis with me. I'm bringing my bag with me, and it's Louis. This your quarterback. Some of you ain't gonna be here. It is what it is. You better start running it like a, a professional organization, or you're gonna get dusted. It is what it is. Gary says, "Man, these college players are getting AARPO, LOL, even their kids and their kids in high school." Uh, but no, man, like they are getting older. But what's so crazy is college coaches prefer old, NBA prefer young. So somewhere we gotta come and meet somewhere in the middle. It's a big gap between what colleges want, what NBA want. We gotta meet somewhere in the middle with that. The gap is coming further and further apart because before it was one and done's. You go straight from high school, everything like that, cool. But now they separate themselves majorly, and it got to get closer. That's in my opinion. But let's see, these 18 to 20-year-old kids are getting their growth stunted by these 23, 24-year olds, adults that are struggling to have an impact on the team. Um, yeah, in certain instances, I mean, but the thing is, like, but nowadays, like freshmen aren't making as much of an impact right away. But I think that's because of the trickle down effect. Now, don't get me wrong; those older kids do help. Let's not get it twisted. If we look at Florida Atlantic, there was a bunch of juniors red shirt juniors, and they'll be back and they'll be good. So it does help to get talent if you older talent if you can, but they got to be good players. They just can't be old. They got to be good players. But college is a mess right now, and something will be done eventually down the road before to regulate it. But right now, it's just a mess, and players are just literally walking in saying how much you got for me, and if you're not close within that range, the conversation is even over. They don't even care about fit. They don't care about culture. They don't care about none of that. It's all right. Well, USC just offered me 200K. The strategy and all sound good, but can you match that? That's the questions. That's the questions that's being asked. Can you match that? That's it. Gary said, "Will Cincinnati be able to afford to battle in the Big 12? I mean, they'll be okay. It'll take time, like anything else, but they'll be okay. They can get better players, especially. And I keep cutting my eye to the the Reds game, but um, they'll get better. It's just like when we left and went to the Big East, we struggled a couple years, right? But you was able to get quality players in quickly. Then you ended up in the Big East title game, went to the Sweet 16. So when you win a better conference, you attract better players. You got a chance. Now you need a coach to be able to coach. That's We'll find out soon. That's why I'll put it that way. We'll find out soon. We have to find. I mean, have a coach to be able to coach. That's simple. It says 200K is crazy, but that's the going rate. That's the going rate. Some of these kids NIL is worth millions, yo. I'm just saying, it's just the state of college athletics right now. It's a cluster, and you gotta navigate your way through, especially if you a parent and got a high profile kid, or if you're, perhaps a kid you one day watch this, man. You gotta navigate this. It's a crazy battle right now. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate Gary Henry and my boy Jay tuning in and commenting as well. Now in the future, please comment on the Timeout with Coach Cam page. That way I can see it. I can pull it up and comment. If you're commenting somewhere else, I am sorry. I can't see them come across. It has to be on the Timeout with Coach Cam page itself. So if you did comment and I missed them, I'm sorry. But make sure you comment on the Timeout with Coach Cam page. All right. But I'll catch y'all next time. There was no locks of the night. I don't force anything as far as giving you guys some plays. You don't force it. So I wasn't feeling it. Didn't see anything I like. So no locks this tonight. But we back at it tomorrow. So check out the page. Make sure you like also and subscribe on YouTube. I'll have some locks of the day for you tomorrow. Hopefully we can win some money. Until next time, yeah.